Hello everyone, Vic here, and I'm sharing with you today a process video for Lottie Loves Paper, and I'm getting to work with the Echo Park Magical Birthday Girl collection. Now I have a few photographs still on my phone of both of my daughters and actually of our dog as well from December to celebrate their birthdays. And I've tended to scrap the younger photos of them along the years in my scrapbooking albums, but not the older ones. So I decided that I would get a few of them onto some paper and into the albums for the girls. And my idea on this layout here was to create my own hand-cut title. I was having a bit of a nightmare, as you can see. I didn't have any white gesso left in my pot, which I didn't realise. So that's something I need to order. So I ended up popping lots of clear gesso on. But the whole idea behind this layout and going around in my head was to actually dilute some of that pattern paper, the black, and take the edge off of it so that my title would show up more. So I ended up then putting some white acrylic paint on top as well. And that's also appears to be quite old. So we got there in the end. Maybe it wasn't quite how I envisaged it, but it did the job for my my title. So what I have done is I've cut my lettering out first on some just normal A4 printer paper, and then I've used that as a template to hand draw around those letters and hand cut them out of my pretty pattern papers. I really wanted the layout to pop, and I think the contrasting colours in this collection are just absolutely beautiful. They're really, really bright and vibrant, and not necessarily colours that I would usually scrap with, but I had so much fun making this layout, and yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it. So whilst I was waiting for my my gesso on my page to dry, you can see here that I've hand cut out my title. And I'm just fussy cutting around some of the clouds and balloons from one of the sheets of pattern paper, because I want, and just as you can see on my cutting mat here, just embellishing it a bit and setting it out how I was envisaging it on the layout. Because there's nothing worse than doing a bit of mixed media and then having to wait ages for it to dry. I just had this idea buzzing around in my head and I just wanted to crack on with it. So yeah, so this is why I carried on going on my cutting mat, which has seen better days, whilst I was waiting for it to dry. So there we go, it's all dry now. So I've cut out a few embellishments, and I've got a rough idea how I was going to set it out, and I'm starting to piece it all together. So I liked how it was looking, but I didn't think those letters were showing up too much. So what I'm doing now is just adding some ink onto my my gesso background. Now, because I mixed gesso in with that white acrylic paint, I can add more mixed media onto the top of it without warping that paper, because pattern papers are really quite thin and warp really easily if you add too much water to them. But that gesso has just made it a little bit sturdier and not absorb all the wetness. So my page is actually, at the end of it, still pretty flat. So the colour I used was yellow, because I've got a few pops of yellow that I've already cut out with some balloons and some of the embellishments for my layout. So I decided that yellow would really help that title pop off the page. And it was a Distress Oxide ink called Mustard Seed. So you can see with the Distress Oxide inks, you can spritz them with water and use like the smushing packaging technique, and it just worked perfectly. So I was quite happy with that. And then whilst I was waiting for that to dry, I decided that the Make A in the pink papers at the top still weren't really going to pop off too much from the page and we're getting a little bit lost. So I've just backed those excuse me, onto some plain white cardstock there, just to give it a little bit of a shadow box effect and help it come off the layout. So I absolutely love this collection. It's just come in at Lottie Loves Paper, and like I say, it wouldn't necessarily be something that I'd really pick, but these star papers, this background one that I've got, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And then there's also sheets of paper in the collection that are pink with white stars on. There's a yellow one with stars on, just a plain black one with white stars. So actually some of the colours are quite universal and not necessarily for birthday layouts. So I may do a layout that's non-birthday related. It depends how much paper I've got left at the end of all the other ideas I've got whizzing around in my head. I'm going to make a mini album with it as well, which I've started. I've got a few birthdays coming up for the girls, so I might make one of them a mini album so that she can fill it up with some photos from her day, because she needs a little bit of cheering up at the moment. So that's started anyway. So back onto this layout. So happy with everything, where everything is placed now, and just starting to stick everything down. Layering things up a little bit. Layering always helps to, I think, add a bit more dimension and interest to your page. I've backed my photograph with some of the pink polka dot paper, and I've then backed that with some scrunched up tissue paper. Sarah always sends your orders wrapped up really nicely in tissue paper, and I've always kept a little bit of it behind. It just adds a bit of softness to layering and another texture as well. So I'm raising some bits up on foam pads like those balloons. I think they're really super cute, and I'm going to add some thread, I think, underneath those, as you'll see towards the end, just so that they look like they are floating off up into the sky. And I just want to help those letters come off that background page even more. So I'm just using my fine black marker pen and going around those letters, and that, I think, then really helps bring them off the page. One of the scalloped sticker edges from the sticker sheet is going on that, just to help bring the page together. And a few more stickers. And then on one of the sheets, I had all these like tiny little rosettes of different colours. So I fussy cut some of those out and popping those onto my layout for a bit more decoration. The problem I had with it was that I didn't want to add too much to it, because that background paper is quite busy. To me, it looks quite busy already, so I really didn't want to add loads and loads. I wanted to try and keep my embellishing quite simple, so the balloons and that were really all that I needed on it. I did add some more balloons on top of the eye of the wish, the I in the wish word, because I thought they were quite a fun little element to add. And I was so pleased with how it turned out. I just think it's quite striking, the black with those pops of bright colour everywhere. Really, really pretty. Now, I printed my photo in black and white. We have a tradition in this house on birthdays that the girls would always like their cake done before school, funnily enough. But my eldest has to get up at 6:30 in the morning and be out of the house at just gone 7 to go to school. So my photos of recent years, as they've got a bit older, are not the clearest at all, because one, the curtains are still drawn so that the candles show in the dark. The lighting's horrendous and they always come out a bit fuzzy. But I don't want to get rid of those photographs, because obviously they're precious memories to me. So a way you can get around that is by printing them out in black and white. It covers a multitude of sins in terms of photograph quality, and you can get away with your pictures not being the clearest So that's why I did my picture in black and white. But I think it works quite well with the bright colours of the collection of the papers that I've been using. So it's just really a case then of adding my journaling, which I've done on some strips of white card, and sticking underneath. Isabella wanted a birthday cake with an Easter egg and mini eggs pouring out of it, so that was quite a challenge for me to make, but she seemed quite pleased with it, so that was good. I think I achieved what she wanted there. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this has given you an idea to create maybe your own titles and how to make the most of these bright pattern papers all together. If you've liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, comment, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.